Give me a second.
Let me be see.
Oh, yeah, can you watch?
See, 9 seconds. 10 seconds. Yeah, you can shoot you straight, man. Oh, shoot. You're live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lola Adenira. Thank you very much for joining us in today's session. We're going to be looking at CV review session, where we're going to be talking about CV tips. We're going to be looking at formatting and structure. We're looking at tailoring your CV to specific roles. We're looking at key skills recruiters are looking for and what is blocking your CV from getting noticed by recruiters and employers generally. So I'll just say a little bit about myself. My name is Lola Deniro. I'm a seasoned career coach and I'm a business analyst. I'm an entrepreneur and I've been helping people to view their career journey over the years. And I've got enough experience and industry knowledge and strategies to be able to support people through their career journey. So welcome to my channel once again, and I wish and I hope that you enjoy your time today. So, research has shown that 75% of CVs don't even get to recruiters at all. And a lot of times, 5 to 10% eventually get to the end of interviewers or even to employers. So, what are the common mistakes that we do or we make that makes our CVs to go unnoticed? So I'll first talk about the recruitment and selection process. As we all know that when organizations are about to recruit for people, they have to do job planning and job analysis. What exactly are we recruiting for? What are the roles out there? What are the opportunities out there? What are the what are those things that are trending in terms of the keywords to use in job analysis and planning? And the next thing they do is they begin to source for candidates. So they can do that via using different platforms. And after sourcing for candidates, they do screening and shortlisting. And after shortlisting people, then they go to the interview stage where they interview candidates, shortlisted candidates. And then they go through the selection and offer stage. And then candidates will then do all of the background checks and all that, and everything responsible for them to be able to successfully be in the company, like onboarding, induction, and all that. So that's the recruitment and selection journey that candidates go through. So I'll just focus on two areas, which is the sourcing for candidates and screening and shortlisting. So for job sourcing, most organizations will use a lot of different platforms just to be able to select the right candidates. And one of those is the job board. So there are so many job boards. There's a LinkedIn jobs, there's Indeed, there's Glassdoor, there's even the company can have their own company career page. So the question I raised on Instagram was how many of us are on LinkedIn? How many of us have LinkedIn accounts? How many of us, have access to even see the jobs that have been advertised on LinkedIn? So the question for you is, do you have a LinkedIn account? Because if there are jobs that have been advertised on LinkedIn, if you don't have the account, there is no way you'll be able to see those jobs. So organizations use job boards generally to advertise jobs. And I can tell you that a lot of people actually get jobs on LinkedIn. And also there is also LinkedIn search. So most recruiters or most employers will go on LinkedIn and search for the type of role that they are recruiting for. So a lot of times you get like in-app messages saying, "Oh, are you interested in this role?" So another key thing there is for us to go and register for LinkedIn if you don't have one. So there is also internet candidate sourcing where organizations will recruit first internally. So they advertise the job internally just to see if there are people within the organizations that qualify for that job. And a lot of times I think they do internal sourcing first before they even go out there. So, and I think majorly because they're looking for experience, they prefer experience over, all the technicalities that we put in our CVs. Experience is very key. So they believe that their current employees would have developed these experiences over time. Another one is networking events. So people attend networking events, IT events, different networking events that a lot of organizations do hold. I've been to a few, like PwC, all those consulting firms. They do hold, they do hold networking events, and you can get jobs via those events. And also through recruitment agencies. So people just register with all these recruitment agencies, and there are so many of them online, and also employee referrals. So there are organizations that do employee referrals, and they reward the employees. So they say like, if you bring someone and they're successful, we'll give you like £500. So if that person gets through the recruitment journey and they become successful, that particular employee will be given or rewarded with £500. So a lot of organizations do that. They do that because they want people with similar experience, similar way of thinking, similar nature kind of. So if you're good at your job, they want you to bring somebody that is as good as you. Another one is career fairs, where they advertise entry level roles, interns, graduate schemes. All those are also available. And there's also code sourcing. So code sourcing is where recruiters directly contact you. Or we've seen your CV somewhere and we want to know if you're interested in the job. So code sourcing is another one that recruiters do. And I do have a lot of contacts where people have just called me randomly to say, "Oh, I saw your CV somewhere, and are you still interested in this job?" So that's another one. So in terms of screening and shortlisting, one thing that I want us to know is that we are in that technology age where the way we do things before cannot work any longer just because of AI, all these third platform technologies. They're taking over the way we do things, and also we need to move with the times so that we're not left behind. So research has it that 75% of CVs don't even pass through the first stage. So nowadays, most organizations use what is called ATS, application tracking software, to track, to first select CVs. So it's a software that selects CVs based on keywords. So the software will select a number of candidates that matches the job description or the job adverts before it then goes to human to review, before it then goes to maybe the manager, before it goes to maybe the subject matter experts who are actually going to interview you. So you can see that your CVs, the CVs are going through a number of stages that we don't even see. So people are saying, I've applied for 100 jobs and I've not been called for interview. The problem is not that you're unqualified. The problem is not about you. The problem is about your CV. So it's important that we pay attention to how we build our CVs. A lot of people say, "Oh, send me your CV. I'll copy that, and I'll just change a few things, and that's it." But we need to be intentional and practical about the way we build our CVs, so that when we apply for a job, you're among the first, 10% of people that will be called for jobs. So let's look a little bit into this ATS, this application tracking software. What does it do? So this software cannot read text. I mean letters, cannot read text. So what it does is it scans for keywords. So for example, when an organization advertises a particular role, so they say, oh, we're looking for a seasoned IT business analyst, or a seasoned IT engineer, or a network engineer. So they write all the keywords, all the things that they're looking for that particular role. So what the ATS will do is to begin to scan CVs to look for the exact keywords that recruiter have used in the job description. So the software will select, maybe out of 10,000 applications, the software will select about maybe 30% of those CVs. for human to review. So we all know that it's impossible for just one person to probably review about 10,000 CVs in a week. So I think with the use of the software, it enables organizations to hasten their recruitment process. So ATS can't read text correctly; it only scans, and the record has shown that 75% are rejected by ATS automatically, just because they do not meet up with the standard. And so what is ATS looking for? It's looking for keywords, it's looking for the format of your CV. So ATS cannot read tables, cannot read columns, cannot read icons, logos, headers, and footers. So it's only reading text. And the text will be is only scanning for text. And the text will become scannable if they're in a particular format. So it means that your CV must be in a format that is okay for the ATS to be able to read or scan accurately. So there are so many CV tips out there, but I think for ATS, just stick to the barest minimum. Just make sure that your CV is as simple as possible. Single column, no tables, no logos, no icons. Simple as possible. No graphics. Standard bullet points. Most importantly, optimized keywords. I know these days we use AI for our CVs, but research has also shown that a lot of CVs are now becoming too artificial. There's no human element. There is no personal touch to our CVs. So when we're using AIs to build our CV, let's be intentional about these keywords. What are the keywords that have already been used in the job description? Because that's exactly what the ATS will be looking for, the software will be looking for. So another one is when our CVs does not match the job description that the company is looking for. There's a lot of chances that our CVs will not be picked. So we want to use the exact words or synonyms of words that have been used, and we want to make sure that those are the words that are within the key areas of our CVs. Also, ATS cannot read incorrect format file. For example, if you have not saved your CV as the docs or like a scanned PDF, it may be difficult for the software to read it. So if you've saved your CV in any other format other than the docs or scanned PDF, so ATS cannot also guess your experience or your title. For example, if your title is IT engineer, and because you want to be different with your CV, you've put a title that is not common. You've put a sophisticated title that is not common. The software cannot read it. So always be simple with the title. So IT business analyst, IT or SAP engineer, network engineer, customer service agent. Just make sure that the keywords that you're using for your titles are things that are common, that the software can easily pick. And also when there are missing gaps, when the dates are not in chronological order. So for CVs, you always put the most recent experience first. So when you put the last 10 years experience first, and then the last 2 years, when it's not in chronological order, it's difficult for the software to pick that up. So let's ensure that our CVs are in chronological order. And you may want to maybe get your CV close to you and just check some of these things that I'm saying, and just yeah, and just compare. So I'm going to be talking about CV format and structure now. So a good CV format should look like have an header. An header is where you have your name, your address, your what's it called, your address, your phone number, just that title page where you have your name, your address, and your phone number. A lot of people put their date of birth, but it's not important that you put your date of birth. And yeah, so just put your name, your address, and phone number, and most importantly, your email address, because most, the recruiter wants to contact you via email or give you a call. So a good CV must have an header, basically. And also professional summary. Some people call it profile. A good CV must have a good professional summary. A lot of times, humans are too impatient, maybe to read a lot of text, so they just scan through. And your profile summary is just everything about you. A lot of times, people just read the profile summary and oh, it doesn't match, they drop it. So make sure that your profile summary is reading you. It's telling us who you are. It's telling us a little bit about your experience, telling us about your skills and competencies. It's telling us about the tools, the technical qualifications you have, the tools you can use. Just make sure that your profile summary embodies everything about you and write it in such a way that is not artificial. So I did write here that your profile summary must tell us who you are, what you do, your years of experience, your key strengths, and your industry focus. So there's so many generic profile summary that AI can write for you, but you must make it you. Basically, when I look at your profile summary, I just want to see everything about you in few seconds. So people also ask, oh, how many lines should my profile summary, you know, how many lines should you have? I tell them 5 to 6 lines, depending on experience. 5 to 6 lines. It may be more than that if you're highly experienced. So a good CV will have an header and will also have a profile summary, and make sure that your profile summary is reflecting you. So after your profile summary, you want to put your core skills. What are your core skills? Skills are like abilities. Skills are like what you're known for, what you can do. So there are different types of skills. There are natural skills, there are soft skills, there are technical skills. On your CV, you just want to focus on soft skills and technical skills. A mix of soft skills and technical skills, not natural skills at this stage, because you want to sound professional, very professional, you know. So, what are some of the examples of soft skills? You're talking about communication skills, listening skills, interpersonal skills. You're talking about facilitation skills, depending on the job description, depending on that job advert. That is why I always tell people that make sure that you read the job adverts. Make sure that you read the job description. What are they looking for? And make sure that you have make sure that you tailor your CVs to different job descriptions. A lot of times people are just too lazy. They have just one generic CV and that's what they push out to everywhere. Yeah, some people may get lucky, but not everybody may be that lucky, just because the job market is now highly competitive. I mean, highly competitive. There are so many people out there that are brilliant and excellent at what they do. So you have to be intentional about what you put in your CV. So, your job skills, what are they looking for? There must be something in that job description that gives you like an expo into what they're looking for. So, tailor your job skills based on the job description. And then tailor it based on, for example, if you're looking for a customer service jobs, we already know the type of skills that they're looking for. They're likely going to be looking for somebody that can communicate, communication skills, listening skills, people that can interact with people that can empathize. So those are the type of skills that are common to this type of role. So even though your job description may not tell us exactly the skills that you're looking for, but just by the nature of that role, we already know the type of skills they're looking for. And then mix it with technical skills, like maybe you're proficient in Excel, in MS Word, PowerPoint, you're proficient in Power BI, proficient in any of those reporting tools. Just put it there because it's like an advantage if you know how to use them. So put it there. But don't just put something that you don't know how to use, because a lot of people then just generically just put all this Excel and all that. And if you're not highly proficient in Excel, just put Excel there. Don't put proficient or don't put highly skilled. Okay? Because they can now test your knowledge and discover that, oh, okay, tell us how to write this formula. And you're like, I don't know that much. So let's be simple with what we write in our skills sessions. Also, education. Education is very important, but for me, I think education is you can put it there or you may not put it there. What you need to think about is, what is my selling point? For example, you have gone to maybe Harvard, you've gone to all this very good school, you've done you have a very good degree, maybe you have like first class, you have like second class upper, or you've got master's degree, you've got MBA. So the question is, what is your selling point? So if education is your selling point, yes, please put it there. But I always advise that we put education anyway. But if your education is not your selling point, I say please don't put it there. Okay? So the next is qualification. So what is my qualification? Do I have any qualification that I've done? Do I have like all this, for example, customer service? I have like customer service certification. If I'm a bit to project management, have I got like PMP or any of the project management certifications? Do I have business analysis qualifications? Do I have IT qualifications? If you have qualifications, qualification is a very good selling point because a lot of people, when they put qualification, it tells the employer that you're serious. It tells the employer that you probably have, better knowledge in terms of what you do. You know what to do. You need little support when they employ you. So you want to put your qualifications, but if you don't have it, you can skip. Then we go to the experience section. Experience, experience, experience. I tell people that in advanced countries, in most countries like the UK, US, Canada, based on the people that I've spoken to, experience is the master. And I'm sure that even in other countries, experience is still very, valuable and key. Experience tells us that you will be capable when they employ you. So you want to be intentional about how you write your experience. So how do I write my experience in such a way that I will be selected? First, you want to use action words. You want to use very strong action words. For example, developed, led. You want to use those action words. You want to use, they call them action verbs. Excuse me. Action verbs as well. Coordinated, managed, supported, analyzed, cooperated. You want to use those action words. Why? So that, a lot of people, when I see some CVs, they'll be like leading, or I led, or I no, just use action words. Action words, it's very strong and it's very easy for software to speak and even human to relate with. So use action words that shows or demonstrated that you've done something. So it must always be in past tense, except you're still working in the organization. So people say, oh, leading, and you're no longer in that company. So you want to be intentional to say managed, led, past tense, action words. Those are very key when we're writing our experience. And I'll tell you one thing that you cannot take away when you're writing your experience, and that is value. You see, a lot of organizations are looking for people that will bring value to the organization. Like I said, the job market is highly competitive. I've had the experience of interviewing people before, and I know how competitive it can really get to. And I know some of the little decisions that people make that just make some people to look as if they're favored. Experience, the way you write your experience is very key. Don't just write manage, project, led, stakeholder, this and that. Be intentional about how you write it. People are looking for value in your CV. What are the examples of values? For example, I saw somebody that said, "Oh, I led a group of stakeholders to achieve this, and that's it." And I see another CV that says, "Increase business profit by 20% by improving the reporting and accuracy and supporting faster decision making." To me, that is value. You're saying you increase business profit by 20%? I really want to know you. I really want to get to see you. I want to speak to you. I want to know more about you. Those are people that can bring value to the organization. So if you're just putting generic words, you're not showing or showcasing the value you're going to bring to the organization when your CV passes that first level stage of going through the 8 years and it gets to human. And human, maybe the first human is a recruiter that doesn't really, they're just scanning through and saw that you've put some business value. I'm like, oh, okay, this person sound like can represent this company. Pass that to the manager. The manager looks at your CV, sees that you've put value. Oh, save £50,000 annually by improving event vendor management system or something. Oh, this is value. Passes that to subject matter expert. They want to meet you. They want to see you. So we must ensure that we're intentional when we're writing experience to put value. Value can be profit, it could be time saving, it could be that you've increased revenue. So start to think about what are the things I do that brings value? What are the things I do on daily basis? What are the things I've done in the past that communicates value? And put that in your CV and you will see the difference. You will see that you submit your CV and you're getting calls left, right, and center because they want to see you. Because every organization wants people that can bring value to the organization. Another thing about CVs is human when human is reviewing your CV, you want to make it easy for them to review. So I see some CVs that are from left to right. Left to right. So I'm reading, I'm going like this, I'm going like this. You're looking at the job title, the date is on the far, far right. The details are on the far left. People will be tired to look at the CV and they'll just drop it. So your CV should be top bottom approach, top down. Your title, the title, your role, your the date, and then the next thing you put. So title, date, just follow that top bottom approach. Make it concise. Your title, the date, maybe you've been here from 2004, 2006. Then write maybe the key project that you've worked on and then go into responsibilities. So let's make sure that our CV is from top to bottom, not left to right. People get tired when they're moving their heads across and trying to scan through your CV. So let's make our CVs readable and easy for people to read. So another thing I want to talk about is also hobby and reference. So a lot of people may say, "Oh, I'm not going to put hobby in my CV," but I've seen where hobby actually get people into the interview room and also get them the job. So a lot of people want to employ people that are kind of similar to them, maybe directly or indirectly. I think I think it's passively, not actively. People don't even know that they're doing that. But people recruit people that have similar interests, people that are kind of similar in the way they think, in the way they relate, or someone that makes them remember someone that they love. It's all part of human. I mean, we all do it. Whether we are intentionally doing it or not intentionally doing it, we all do this. We want to recruit people that look like us. If you think about the job that you're doing now, think about the interview process. Think about how you were interviewed. Think about some of the things that happened. You'll probably be able to testify and say, yeah, that's true. And for me, in my current job, I can testify that this hobby is very important. So your hobby can be reading, your hobby can be swimming, your hobby can be anything, social activities that you do. So Hobby can attract a recruiter to you. Hobby can attract a subject matter expert that is reviewing your CV to you. Oh, this person read book. Or so maybe they have like a reading club. They want people that can join the club. That person wants somebody that can, go to the club with them. Maybe you put football. That person loves football. So it's thinking about, oh, there'll be something that we can talk about. So you know that most organizations they build their teams. They want people that can seamlessly integrate into teams. So they're looking for what are those other things that you have other than all this experience and very technical and highly skilled, thing that you've put here. They're looking for what other things do you have that can make you to integrate well into our team. Because if you recruit somebody that cannot fit into your team, there'll be a big problem. There'll be a big problem to manage. So people want to employ people that can fit in, you know, easily. So hobby is very key. And that's why interview questions, they ask you, tell me something that I don't know about you. It's just because you haven't put your hobby. So they're thinking, you sound professional, you sound like you know what you're doing. But the reality about workplaces is that we still relax sometimes. We want to talk about things, especially in places where they ask you about almost everything about your life. Oh, tell me, how was your weekend? They want to know everything. So they're thinking, we don't want somebody that will be acting like a zombie or there'll be somebody that will not be able to integrate well. So tell me something that I don't know about you. It's just because you haven't put your hobby. So they want to ask you. So put your hobby, and that can also, bring some make your CV to get noticed basically. So hobby, the reference is based on request. You don't need to put your reference on your CV, but just say reference on request. So what are the examples of CVs that get noticed by recruiters? So have your professional experience. How do you write a professional experience? How do you write your responsibilities? A good example says led requirements workshop with business users and global. So you want to put all this, everything that you've done, but not everything that you've done, everything that is relevant, to the role they're applying for. So you put your name, you put the title. Maybe you work with Jones and Jacks Limited. You put the name of the company, you put the dates that you worked there, you put your posts. I worked as maybe IT consultant, and then you put the key projects, SAP implementation. A lot of people miss out the key projects. And I probably say that it depends on your level of expertise and experience. So if you're like 1 or 2 years into the job, like into the business, into organizations, you don't have much experience. You just want to focus on the things that are relevant, like your skills, your hobby, and all that. But if you have like 4 or 5 years experience, you've accumulated a lot of things that like industry knowledge, things that can you know, make your CV to get noticeable. You want to put everything in your CV, but you want to summarize them. So I get a lot of questions around. So how many pages should my CV, have? Should it have, 8 pages or 7 pages? So I'll say if you're not experienced, maybe you have like 1 to 2 years experience, your CV shouldn't be more than 1 page, at most 2 pages. If you have like 3 to 4 years experience, your CV should be like from 2 to 3 pages. If you have like over 5 years experience, your CV should still not be more than 3 to 4 pages, maximum of 5 pages. When you have like 6, 7, 8 pages of things to read, people get frustrated. And you may have even put the most important things on the 8 or the 7 page, so it does not get seen by anyone. So let's make sure that our CVs are as concise as possible. And that takes me back to the way you write your experience, the way you summarize your experience. Summarize in such a way that people can easily understand what you're saying. So another one is the font. The font that we use for our CVs. I know sometimes people want to use a lot of fancy fonts out there. you know, that just to show that they're different, or they feel like if I use a fancy font, it will make my CV to stand out. You're not doing yourself any good if you do that. Just stick to the basic CV fonts, most common ones like Arial, Calibri. I use Garamond, those common ones. Just stick to that. If you use a CV that has all those cunning way of writing things, the ATS will not be able to read it. Human will be frustrated, and they'll just drop your CV. Also, you want to use the font size. You want to make sure that it's around 10 to 12. Even in school, they say 12. So I think we should still stick to between 10 to 12. And also consistent spacing. Consistent spacing. Bullet points, not long paragraphs. And there are different types of bullet points. I say just stick to the dots. The dot bullet, that's basic that I think a CV should have. Also use reverse chronological order. Make sure that we're writing our CVs from 2024 to 2025, not 2025 to 2024. I've worked in Jacks and Jones Limited from 2024 to 2026, not 2026 to 2024. And also let's use simple headings that are ATS friendly. Avoid fancy CV templates that breaks ATS. ATS is a software. So the software can break when you use all these fancy templates with logos, with too many colors and all that. So let's stick to simple white Word document. Avoid too many colors, avoid too many icons, avoid photos. Let me not say too many photos. Avoid photos unless required, unless it's asked for by the recruiter. Also, avoid huge blocks or text. Avoid multiple columns. Let's use a single column format Word document. And as I begin to round up, I like to always end with value. The reason why your CV will be picked or get noticed is because of the value that you're bringing to the organization. And I say 80% of the time, our CVs lacks value. Excuse me. So let's begin to think about what are the values that I've demonstrated in the past. You led a project and that led to increased revenue. That is a huge one that don't get noticed in CV, that we don't put in CVs. So what are those things that I've done in the past that are like value that I can put in my CV? A lot of people, we want to wait till we get to the interview room. But unfortunately, you're not even called for the interview just because you haven't demonstrated value on your CV. So I just say before we fix your CV, a good CV is useless if it's not showing up in the right places. So before you say, oh, let me wait for the interview before I put all these things there, the CV is useless if it's not showing up in the right places. And if ATS can't read your CV, the recruiter will not be able to say it. Subject matter expert that wants to interview you will not also be able to say. So I round up with this phrase that says, your CVs are not getting noticed. It's not because you're unqualified. So stop beating up yourself to say, oh, I'm applying and I'm not being called for interview. It's not about you. It's just about the quality of our CVs. So I don't know if anyone has question that they want to ask, but I'll just check the comments section. Okay, somebody said interesting. Thank you. But if you have specific comments that you want to ask, if you have specific question that you want to ask, you can contact me on Instagram, we're on Facebook, or you can email me at techweekcareer, contact@techweekcareer.com, or you can DM me on Instagram and I'll be able to support you in the best way that I can. So thank you everyone for joining today. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube, please subscribe because every month I'll be bringing you very interesting topics that will help us in our career journey. So I still remain Lola Adenira. Thank you everyone for joining.